message to the team as you were?
Oh, we were super proud of them of what we were able to accomplish this year, kind of getting back off the mat from a 500 season last year and being able to make a run. This is really important to our program, kind of reestablishing it, and so we're super proud of everything that got us to this point. Tough night, nothing seemingly went our way, and we kind of needed some things to go to our way. After seeing them, I played a game a few years ago up at Niles. It was reminiscent of this against LeBray, which we never really stopped the LeBray all night, with maybe one turnover and one big penalty in in overtime, and we were able to win like 48-42. And that's now seeing it. That's how the tonight would have had to play out. We'd have had to have scored almost every time we possessed the ball. They were really hard to get off the field. We had them one time maybe long in the sticks, and we had that face mask, so it turned a potential like 3rd and 10 into first down. So, but hats off to them. They were a little quicker than they even appeared on film, and they were real strong in the trenches. And but we felt good about moving the ball, and we did. Move the ball well in spots tonight, but just couldn't get them off the field.
Coach, obviously, you've been in a lot of these games, and for a lot of these kids who haven't, it obviously came down to what regional finals often do, which is turnovers and penalty. Like, everything makes a difference at this level. It's always
the coaching cliche, and we had a couple key jumps. The linemen felt like they were barking on our count, and but we couldn't get any. We couldn't get the officials to agree with us on that one, but like I said, we would have needed a couple stops on 4th down and whenever positions and recall, and pretty much everything they dialed up, was working. Credit to them, they were well organized, as we knew they would be. We've played these guys before, but it is the truth this time of year. You got to be able to capitalize on mistakes, and they did capitalize on our mistakes.
What did they do offensively that gave you the most trouble?
They were sort of, it wasn't triple option per se, but, you got a big horse, a state discus champion around between tackles. You got those wings that were real quick and cut it up real well, and then quarterback threw really well. So, it wasn't like you could sit or try to take away one thing. We hadn't seen a team under center all year. It's kind of weird. You used to say, well, it's a playing shotgun, but you get kind of used to playing shotgun spread type teams too, and so this was schematically different than anything we've seen all season. Maybe going back to like maybe Garrettsville, Crestwood early in scrimmages, but we knew that was going to be tough to defend. But their kids followed their blocks really well, and we missed some tackles. We were sloppy in tackling at times, maybe trying to put big hits and a little out of control in some spots, but. We didn't quit, and that's what we're proud of.
Seems like there's a lot of respect to you. I mean, obviously, Dylan was talking about he's going to root for McDonald next week. He said, they were good guys who helped him up, and 2 good public school programs. Seems like there's a deep. Obviously, you've had the better of it. Winning 6, but seems like there's a lot of respect between these two.
I do. I wish them nothing but the best. I hope they can be successful going forward. They haven't lost yet, and they were in some close games in the regular season. And a lot of people thought, those are league games. Those are tricky and tough and funny. Sometimes for them, but no, it's going to take a really good football team to beat them.
Coach, I talked to Dylan and Connor about going 500 last year. Maybe regional final wasn't expected this year. What made this team special? I know you had a lot of successful teams here. What made this team stand out?
They felt like some of our past teams where they really bonded. I mean, our locker room had a strong bond. They accepted the big class of freshmen we have that had to play some roles on the team. They accepted those guys early on and really made it a fun atmosphere. And that's the saddest thing about losing. It's not about, no one's going to miss practicing per se, but it's showing up every day. I mean, they had the locker room decked out. They'd never done before. They had a Christmas tree, and they were putting ornaments up of the teams we had beat. And it's just really cool stuff like that took us back maybe 7-8 years before we had that kind of culture in that room. So it's great because they showed the younger kids how it's done, how this is supposed to feel, and how you lead and make it a family atmosphere. And so that's what you're going to miss, on Monday.
on coaches, Dylan said, I think you guys proved your back. I mean, obviously there were whispers last year when you started 0-3 and your numbers were down a little bit on the roster. And there's plenty of people around Portage County who would love to see
well,
so there are people who were counting you guys out, and I think you guys proved like you're back. You're back. If you ever left.
Well, and I think that was important. We weren't sure, to be honest, where we were going to go at the beginning of our schedule and some of the teams on it, but we managed the beginning of the season, and we know we had some easier ones at the end of the year, but we took care of business in our home playoff games and put us in a position to win a regional championship. Just unfortunately didn't go our way.
Coach, that's an inspired play call, Dylan. I don't feel like you've gone to him that early in the game. Normally he's kind of your late, short yardage.
That was
guy.
an audible, too. We knew we were going to maybe have to audible. We had a pass called, and we were going to take it away to alignment, so we just audibled to that real quick. And, it was weird. We didn't have the ball much in the first half. We had the long.
Scored too quick.
And we weren't able to, really get a feel offensively at times because of the short fields with the returns and such. So that was kind of different.
Well, it's kind of weird. I mean, you get momentum and energy from a big play, but at the same time, like you said,
yeah, you were kind of throwing their offense right. It's true.
Coach, we saw a glimpse of what could be a pretty tough aerial attack in 26. I mean, I know you're not going to start throwing 40 times a game, but that ball for Maddox Decade is
we like some of the young receivers we have on the roster. And obviously, we got to replace Dylan and Connor, who are really going to be really tough to replace, and it might be with the stable of guys, but we have some pieces that are coming back. We just got to try to fill in on them, and got to get a little bigger, a little stronger up front with the guys that are returning.
Talk about the seniors and what they contribute to the program.
Yeah, I mean, it's 7 great kids, really, and they all played roles. You have a guy like Tyler Pendergast that goes to state golf and still comes to football practice, and Dylan's just been an exceptional leader. I mean, Aiden was new to us, this year with making a decision to play here. I mean, he lived in town last year, but which was, respectful. They still went to Coventry, even though he lived in Mogadore because he didn't want to leave his friends. But then he realized, hey, I'm going to give this Mogadore thing a shot since I live here. And he was a blessing for us this year. Tough both ways player. James Pollock played both ways for a couple of years now. Chris Winger ended up playing defensive tackle. Matthew Trusky was a great story because he's a band guy and he's really good at it. He's part of like the Cleveland Orchestra, little program thing they have going. He's the guy that comes down out of the stands after Ravenna last year and said, man, I want to come out. I don't like what I don't like this. I don't like this. I want to come back and play football again. And I was super proud of him for that last year. I told him, hey, that means a lot to me. So it's like trying to get those kind of kids committed to him. But all of them, obviously Connor and Dylan got a lot of the publicity, but these other guys were great guys, great parts of it. All right, boys.